Mark Henry here on the On Your Mark Show, powered and sponsored by Epic Sports Apparel. Every Player Compete. Go to everyplayercompete.com. Check out the new merch that we have. Man, we got a coach from the East Coast, but he's coming to Texas this week. Big event going on here in Texas. As you know, everything's bigger here in Texas. Got Coach Vince Jacobs from VTO Sports. But when we have coaches on the show, we kind of like to dive into where they came from, and then we'll dive into VTO and get real deep into it. Coach Vince, how you doing tonight?
Hey, doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Let's talk about you just a little bit, your background, where you play ball at, high school, collegiately, all of those things, and then you coached a little bit. So let's go through that a little bit as well.
Sure. Humble beginnings in the Deep South. I grew up in Mississippi, a little small town called Port Gibson. Played for Port Gibson High School. Was a 4-year starter. One of the first people at my school to become All-State was my claim to fame. And then from there, I got a scholarship to Alabama A&M University. Played offensive guard at A&M for 4 years, 2-year starter there. And then pretty much my football career from a playing standpoint ended at the end of my college career. But because of, my passion for football, and I never, stopped loving it, I got involved in youth sports initially in the youth football leagues. It's kind of like Pop Warner, if you want to call it. And coach in that league for 5 years as a coach, coached my son and a whole bunch of other kids. And then from there, I became the league commissioner, ran the league for another 5 years. And then kind of got, I won't say burnout, but just wanted to try something different. Then I got involved in coaching middle school. Coached middle school football here in the Charlotte area for about 4 years. And then the last few years, I was coaching high school, and it's kind of funny how things twist, high school basketball. And so I just love youth sports, and I love helping kids the best I can, try to be a mentor where I can, and try to encourage them to let football and other sports provide them an opportunity for education.
Absolutely. Again, this is Coach Vince from VTO Sports. Put on a big camp here in Texas, February 19th and 20th. So let's talk about VTO a little bit. Tell me a little bit about it, how it got started. You mentioned they started in 2010.
Yeah. We started as initially, when it first started, it was just 3 dads here in Charlotte. We were all neighbors. I lived this house, my other partner lived there, another guy. And we all 3 played college football. We all 3 had sons that were hoping to play college football. And at that time, didn't a lot of football camps come to North Carolina. It was considered a hotbed for basketball, but wasn't really a hotbed for football. And so we organized and put on our first camp here in Charlotte. It was probably about 120 kids. And back in those days, college coaches could come to the camp and actually walk around and see the athletes and talk to the athletes. NC2A changed that. And so when they changed that model, we went to becoming an event operator. We ran the Rivals camps for 6 years. The first 6 years of Rivals.com, VTO Sports was the company that ran those camps. We also ran NFL Prep 100, which was a NFL high school camp series. We ran that for 3 years, and we ran the NFL Player Association, their set of camps for them. So we kind of was more of running camps for other people. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, we started focusing in our own camps. We have a couple of different things under the umbrella. We have regional combines that are kind of smaller, 1-day inside type camps. And we've done a couple of those in the Dallas, Houston area in the past. Kind of something you'll see us come in town for in the wintertime when it's real cold and kids just want to get times. We have another thing on our umbrella called the Trench Court Academy, which we focus in on linemen. I played line, offensive line in college. And so I saw a lot of companies focusing on 7-on-7 and focusing on the skill guys. So we started focusing on the linemen. And we're in our 4th year now of doing something called the Trench Court Academy. It's kind of local in Charlotte. It's not something that we do academy in Texas, but we do the Academy Challenge at the camp we're going to be doing. So all the linemen, we're going through our Trench Court Challenge. And then we have our Elite 100, which is our main set of camps, which that's a camp we're doing in Houston and Dallas. Then we have our big to-do event. We have a 3-day camp called the All-American Challenge, and that's hosted between here and Florida. We did it at IMG for a couple of years, and this year we're going to be doing it in North Carolina. Then hopefully next year we kind of flip between Florida and North Carolina. So that's kind of, what the business is about, trying to help kids through competitive camps. Our whole gist of our camp is to put, we believe, iron sharpen iron. So we find kids with 2 or 3 star kid, got 4 or 5 offers, we'll put them against a kid, they don't have no offers. And we film that and we send it out to the coaches so the kids can see, could he compete with this 3-star, 4-star? How did he do against them? So you'll see a lot of times where we'll put little stickers on the kids that who have offers and already, may have committed to a college and already have their stuff. And we praise those kids for coming out competing because they help the kids who don't have anything. So you'll have a kid that's 6'4", all world, got 10 offers. You have a kid 6'2", don't have anything. But how can you do against it? How you compete against that kid, and how well can you go against him? And if you are competitive, it helps your stock. It helps you move up the ladder to hopefully get an opportunity for yourself.
Well, that's definitely into today's game and climate. We're kind of midway through the whole COVID situation. These are important things for kids to get out and be seen, and also put these things on paper. Just talk about that a little bit and what you guys bring to the table, that aspect.
Yeah, one of the things we do, and we have a partner called Calipo, and one thing they started with us a couple of years ago is verified data. The one thing coaches want is I don't, a lot of times they don't trust the high school coaches. They definitely don't trust mom and dad, but they will trust entities like VTO Sports, Calipo, other organizations who will take the time and get the data correct, like the height, the weight, the wingspan, the hand size. All those things are critical to college coaches in deciding who they're going to recruit, who they're not going to recruit. And we take time, we make sure we collect that data. And we brought in Calipo just to handle that and verify that data. They have guys who work the NFL combines, who actually work our events, who come in and make sure that your wingspan, your height, your weight, all that stuff's correct. And we get that data, we collect it, and we share that data with the 200 plus colleges that prescribe to VTO Sports and Calipo.
Now, how important are those measurables when you kind of stack them up against each other? Because me, myself, I'm in the world of scouting, and the kind of message that we send to recruits, or just in high schools in general, and their parents, is the measurables, and people get hung up on those things. But since you guys are really concentrating and streamlining that, how important is that to be seen and documented as well?
Well, that's the key part is we give you a chance to let those measurables help define you better. You could be a 5'11" D tackle. On paper, that looks pretty bad. Most D1 schools want somebody that's 6'3", 6'4", 285. But if you go out there and you compete doing our one-on-ones and doing the drills, and you look good and you really perform in some kind of way, you walk away with the MVP of our camp, because college coaches know you have to really bust your butt to win a VTO Sports MVP award. And so that can help you. But no, the stats kind of gives you, some guys, it just gives you an easy way in. If you 6'6", somebody gonna look at you. You 6'5", sure. So height is number one. If you say, hey, what's the most important thing? The most important thing is your mom and dad was blessed to give you some height.
Right.
You're gonna automatically have some level of interest from a college coach. If you don't have that unique height, you're not 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", then it's all gonna be about just how well you compete, what kind of heart you got, what kind of determination, how smart you are, and how much you love the game of football.
Well, definitely, those are all the things that go into the recruiting aspect of it, and putting that on paper and verified times. You heard what he said, verified time. College coaches want to do that. They want to hear that. I ran into Jeff Martin at Catapult at a 7-on-7 tournament, dedication, respect, sport, DR7 in Florida. And he had those kind of things going on. And, we had a chance to kind of talk in between the games about what that brings to the table. Just elaborate on that a little bit. And how often do you guys communicate with these college coaches?
Oh, wow. Well, number one thing about our camps, some camps, you have roll in, they just do a combine only. They'll just have the kids put a t-shirt on and they'll run them up and down the field and do some combine stuff, and then that's it. But not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, it all started with that. When Nike came into the scene doing the Nike combines, that's what a lot of kids had. But not only do we do the combine part, we do the 40, we do the vertical, do the 5, 10, 5, the L drill. And we do something that a lot of camps don't do. And it really, because I'm a lineman at heart, we offer bench press. There's not a single camp in the U.S. right now that actually spend the time and money, energy to bring in benches and allow the kids to bench press. And so we've had a lot. We had a kid 2 years ago, right before COVID hit, who was in Florida, had no offers. We recorded him on the bench. He did 27 reps of 185 pounds. On Monday, his dad called and said, man, that film that you guys posted of my son doing bench, he got a call from University of Central Florida, and they want to talk about an offer just from that. And so, data is great. Being at the right place at the right time is great. But just, again, not being afraid to get out and compete. A lot of kids, man, they kind of think they can sit at home and not go to camps. Just like you have a football season, you have a camp season. And you need to get out there and go to some camps if you are determined to get a scholarship. I mean, if you really are a tweener, if you don't have anything going into your junior and senior year, you best get out and let people see you. Because you might have a great day. You might come out and run a 4.40. And if that data gets to the right coaches, and we kind of answer the last part of your question, we send information to coaches after every camp. And on a weekly, I have about 10 or so coaches reaching out to me, confirming what they saw, making sure it's the right kid, asking me to send a picture of the kid. And so we're on the phone with those guys daily, especially going into when they're about to kick off their football season, they can't get out and see kids anymore. They really want to keep up with that data. And so a lot of times they'll ask us to follow a certain kid or keep up with a certain kid, or they'll ask us to invite certain kids to the camp so they can get more verified data on that kid.
Well, definitely, you guys are trendsetting in what you're doing. I think it's great that you give these athletes a second chance. Because with some of these guys going in, right now, I would say the 23s and 24s are on the clock when it comes to recruiting. The 22s are pretty much done.
Yeah.
23, 24s, if you're listening, he's shaking his head, you see it. You are on the clock right now. 25s, you are in the radar. But 23, 24s, you're on the clock at all positions to be recruited. Now, coming to Texas now, I know you grew up in the South, that's SEC country, great football heritage, historically in Mississippi. But you're coming to Texas. Tell me what you're thinking you're anticipating to see.
Well, first of all, I'm going to let you know a secret. When I graduated from Alabama A&M, my first job was in Arlington, Texas. I got married in Texas. My kids were born in Texas. I spent about 10 years in Texas, then I moved here to North Carolina. So I got two Texas-born athletes in my family. So okay. I know what it's like in Texas. I come every year. This is our 5th year going to DeSoto, and our 5th year going to CE King. We one of those organizations that if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it, And once we establish friendships with high school coaches and coaches with good programs like DeSoto has and good programs like CE King has, we come there every year, and we expect to just have some fun. We expect to see some good athletes, expect to see some great linemen, expect to see some really good skills. Our camp it's a kind of a long camp. It's about 4.5, 5 hours. So we tell the kids to get a good night rest before. Make sure you eat a good breakfast and bring some fruit with you because we grind from 8:30 check-in. We do a little talking, a little parent talk, telling about recruiting and stuff. Then we start and hit the combine. From the combine, we go into the football camp. And that includes 7-on-7, it includes lineman challenge, it includes one-on-ones. So it's a lot going on. We film as much as we can, and we share that data with as many college coaches in our system, which is well over 200 plus colleges and coaches in our system.
Well, that sounds like great. It sounds like a great time. And one more question before you. You mentioned the education of the parent. Give me a message that the parents need to know, because, a lot of times, parents, it's the travel, the money, me being a parent that has athletes as well, you have to kind of weigh in and all that when you're looking at your camps, because some of these camps, let's just be honest, they're money grabs.
That's true.
And it's not really focused on the athlete themselves and beneficial for them. So what can you tell them from a VTO Sports avenue to get them to understand how important this is?
Well, one of the things that we do in our camps, we don't know, we try not to know a kid's name, for example. We don't call a kid by his name. He has a number on his shirt. And that number is what we track him by that whole day based on how you do. My coaches, we might put a little star or sticker on a kid that we know has some offers so we can match them up against some kids that offers. But the whole goal is to make it fair. One of the things that we saw when we were hosting camps for other people is that sometimes it's predetermined on who they want to win, who they want to be the MVP because they want a story from the kid. They want this from the kid. And we come out there and we tell the kids, it's all about how much you want it. If you want it, you can get it. And with the transfer portal and all the things happening in college football, it's extremely hard now to get a scholarship. Kids who used to automatically would end up at Oklahoma or Texas or Notre Dame or North Carolina, they're ending up now in my space that I love, HBCUs and other schools, because it's so hard. But I try to tell parents, don't disrespect those schools. Don't feel that your kid is too good for Alabama A&M or Alabama State or Jackson State or Grambling, because those are a lot of places now where kids are especially the 23s and 24s are falling to. And it's good football. It's great football and it's a great education. I got a degree from a HBCU, Alabama A&M. It's been great for me. And so I always tell parents, it's okay to set your goals to Texas A&M or Texas. That's nothing wrong with that. But don't have your kid so hooked on that if he only gets Southern, he's mad. If you only get Southern University offer him a scholarship or Prairie View offer him a scholarship, oh man, don't have him where he won't go there and enjoy himself and feel good about it, because the scholarships for the next 2 years are limited for high school athletes coming out. You have to get your name out. You got to go as much as you can afford. I know some of these events are money grabs, but in some cases, you have to invest. You have to do your research. And I'm glad I'm able to tell people about VTO Sports and help them make them feel comfortable about spending $100 to come to my camp. But you need to get out here and go to some camps, because if you can have a great day, you run a great 40, have a great bench, you can just get an offer just from those two things. Just from those two things. We have rivals.com at our camps. They're there writing and looking at people, so they see somebody they hadn't heard of. Because a lot of times VTO has been known for finding the diamonds in the rough, the sleepers. That's one of our claims to fame. We've found kids that nobody heard of before, and we've gotten them on the radar.
Well, definitely, that's a great message, and I think that's the whole kid and caboodle, if you will. I think from my perspective is we try to find the hidden gems. That's what I call them. Mm-hmm. Those guys that we just don't see, and there are a lot of them here in the state of Texas and all over. And again, with the transfer portal being so thick, college coaches now, their job's on the line and they have to look for wins now. And it's easier to get a guy that's been in college for 2 years that maybe didn't start to come in and mold him versus the high school kid. So that's the great message that we want to send. And then, to your other point, I think Deion Sanders, Eddie George, and Hugh Jackson at Grambling State are changing the narrative on the HBCU. So don't sleep on that. And it's coming. It's about to come in waves. So, that's a great message that you want to send. And kudos to you for getting that degree, because that's what it's all about. Now, how can everybody sign up if they haven't already? Give them that information here.
Yeah, it's real easy. Again, Vince, Terrence, notice, VTO Sports, .net.com, either one of them work, and you can go to our website. It's real simple. Look for the Elite 100. It'll show you a whole list of all the camps that we're doing, and just click on registration. You put your information in and you're in the system. You'll get emails back and forth, let you know what time to be where and what time to get there. But I can tell you, if you register, you got to be there at 8:30, and we're done about 2 o'clock. So I hope to see a bunch of kids, but also too, we're not one of those camps that just take till it fills up. We stop at about 125. Once we get about 125, 130 kids, we close it down because we can't evaluate 300 kids. We tried that a couple of times where we just kind of let the camp just got overfilled, and I felt bad about it. I actually came back in that community and offered the parents a free camp because we couldn't evaluate. We can evaluate about 125, 150 kids, but that's it. If you go to camps and they got 300 and 400 kids out there, there's no real evaluation going on. I'm gonna be honest with you. It looks cool. It looks great for the owner of the camp, but really it's hard. I don't care how many evaluators you have, and we usually have about 10 to 12 evaluators. You can't see everybody. So we lock in about 125 to 150 kids max. So we're almost sold out right now. I think we got about 110 kids in Dallas and about 100 or so in Houston. And then, but once we get to that number, we shut it down. But again,
All right.
VTOsports.net, VTOsports.net. We'd love to see you guys this weekend. And again, you know, we're going to come in and we're going to really make sure the kids have a fun time.
All right. Now, and then Houston is Saturday and Dallas is Sunday.
That's right.
All right. CE King, DeSoto, and you can't go wrong with those two programs in the state of Texas, both big 6A programs. Man, CE King is very nice. I was over there a couple weekends ago. We had a tournament there, 7-on-7, and I was super impressed. Of course, I know DeSoto very well, all the time over there as well, man. We appreciate you. Here on the On Your Mark Show, powered and sponsored by Epic Sports Apparel, every play I compete. That is VTO Sports, Coach Vince, coming straight out of North Carolina. Now he's going to be in Texas this week. We'll talk to you on the next round.
All right. Take care.